Time now for the Nick Hart Show. It's presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including A&T Concrete, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Agrigold, All Trade Solutions LLC, AM Transport, Engermeyer Electric, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Davis Brothers, Daylight Land Management, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Diversified Instrument Services, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, Emerson Cattle Company, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Fort Branch Car Wash, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Full Metal Armory, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hobstadt Summerfest, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, Hoosier Pain and Posture, IMI Concrete, Engler Family Eye Care, Jarbo Tax Service, JMCO Technologies, Johnson Commercial Mowing, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Wagner Survey, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Lowry Ag, Make Your Mark, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, MyTech Systems, National Vet Help, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Pole Concrete Construction, by Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, by Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, by Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, by Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body. Now, The Nick Hart Show, a special production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department and 89.1 The Bash.
Hello and welcome to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. My name is Wes Harness, alongside me, Nick Hart, and you're listening to the Nick Hart Show. Coach Hart, how are we doing this morning?
Good.
Good. Congratulations on a victory, round one over Mount Vernon, 40-7 score. And, just kind of talk me through that game, how you felt about the guys last Friday.
I thought, especially early, jumping out 21-0. I thought we came out, we were ready to play. I thought there was a point there in the mid-second quarter where we got into a little bit of a lull offensively. But I thought for the most part, really good performance. Offensively, especially defensively, I thought our defense was really good. Their only touchdown came after the long kick return. I thought our defense was, really good throughout the ball game.
Yeah, rushing wise, that defensive line playing a huge part, but 17 carries for 21 yards, averaging 0.8 yards on the rush. Passing wise, Mount Vernon, 35 passes for 168 yards, just that one touchdown through the air, like you mentioned, off the big return. Defense also getting 2 takeaways for the evening. Nice to see some interceptions. We had a pretty good start to the season with that defense getting turnovers. Kind of didn't fall off. The defense still playing exceptional, but turning the ball over kind of been tough for him. How's that moment, especially with Bo Rose with the pick 6 on top of that? What kind of momentum do you feel like drives a defense when they get some big turnovers like that?
Yeah, it's huge, and I thought especially that one. I mean, you're up 33-7. You have a nice, comfortable lead, but because of a block punt, they have some good field position. They got a chance to go in and make it 33-14. Maybe make you a little uncomfortable there late in the third quarter. And to flip that and get a pick six and make it 40-7 and essentially put the game away. That was a big play to just kind of ice it and put it away. But no, I thought they did a great job the entire night. Two takeaways, like you mentioned. I thought we had a chance for a couple more too
Yeah.
that we were able to come up with. I just thought we were in good position for the most part the entire night, and our guys up front did a great job of putting pressure on them in the passing game as well.
Yeah, looks like just 2 sacks on the evening, but I think 2 players combined to get the sack both games. So, gotta love on the defense. Not only is able to fly around, but you can tell they're having fun doing it. I remember watching Bo Rose come off the sidelines, looking like a kid in a candy store, just having the time of his life on the field. And that's just some of the funnest things to watch is being able to see the enthusiasm on not only on the field but also off the field on the sideline with the teammates. Just a great experience to witness, and obviously a great experience to be a part of. But we'll kind of flip it over to the offense now. The offense, one guy I want to give a big shout out for, Sean DeLong, with the 97 rushing yards last Friday. I think that did set the record, as he is now the number 1 player in school history in all-purpose yards in his career. So a big congratulations to Mr. DeLong. Great, not just a great season, but a great career so far at Gibson Southern. Coach, how to, tell me a little bit about Sean.
Yeah, he's had a great career. Certainly deserving of having that record. Because not only is he a great player, he's been selfless as we've kind of moved him around into different roles in his 4 years here. He doesn't care where he plays. He just wants to get in and help the team win. Those are the guys that you want to break records, right? The guys
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
don't care about that stuff and just want to get in and do what's best for the team and help them win. He's obviously a tremendous football player, but he's a great kid and a really good teammate. Really happy for him.
We'll get into the passing game. Tanner Boyd on the evening last Friday, 16 for 26, 185 yards, did throw 2 touchdowns, did have 1 interception. The guy, I think it was Maddox Potts, was there. He was open, just didn't put enough air to kind of get it over that linebacker or safety there for that pass. Just not enough touch on the ball. But, overall, how'd you feel about Tanner's performance on Friday?
I thought Tanner was really good. He'd probably like to have that one back. But no, I thought for the night he was really good. I thought we did a good job of protecting him for the most part. I thought Mount Vernon did a good job on like third downs of mixing up their looks and getting after us and mixing their coverage on the back end, which is something they hadn't done a lot of throughout the course of the year. So I thought we did a good job of handling that. I thought our receivers did a good job of going to get it. There were some good, tough, contested catches. Especially, I think I can think of a couple of slants, where we caught the ball and took a pop and hung on to it. I thought it was a pretty efficient night through the air, especially, when we were throwing, when we didn't have a penalty or something that got us behind the sticks, and we were throwing when we wanted to and not when we were in had to throw situations. I thought we were extremely efficient in that regard. So I thought it was a pretty good night throwing the football.
Yeah, gotta agree with you there. Overall, even with I feel like the run game didn't have to worry too much about it. But overall, on the evening, 186 yards, on the ground, 185 yards through the air, 359 total yards of offense for the Gibson Southern Titans, to where that Titan defense held Mount Vernon to 171 total yards of offense. And, I feel like with a defense, if you can keep a team under that 200-yard range, mathematically, and I'm no genius, but, 200 yards usually rounds out to about 2 touchdowns. But got to give a lot of credit on both sides of the ball for this Titan team. Played an exceptional week 1. Week 2, we do have Washington coming up. We'll talk a little bit about them later in the evening. But do want to bring up, so I know the freshmen had one more game against, was it Owensboro? Just Owensboro? Was it Owensboro Catholic or?
It was Owensboro, Owensboro High School.
Gotcha.
They went down there last Thursday, lost by, I don't have the exact score in front of me, 3 touchdowns. We were in the game for most of the night. And we always, we talked about this, I think, last week. We have, kind of started, it's become a little tradition to end our freshman game or our freshman season with that Owensboro game. It's always a huge test for us. They're a great 5A program in Kentucky. Our freshmen had a great season. Their 2 losses were to 6A Henderson County in overtime, and then Owensboro. And I think talking to the coaches that went, we played really well. We were in the ball game at half, and had some chances, and they made some big plays to kind of pull away from us in the second half. But great season for that freshman group.
Yeah, and absolutely a fantastic season. If you're only 2 losses there, against huge 5A, 6A schools, obviously they're going to have the numbers. I had some sources at that Owensboro game, and a couple of those parents were kind of thinking, these kids are pretty big for freshmen. They thought maybe a couple sophomores had snuck on the field, but no matter what happened, great season by those freshman guys. Great season by the JV as well. I know we kind of talked about it last week, but now that it's playoff time, a lot of these younger guys kind of starting to feel that or get that experience of, this could be the last game of the season. This could be the last game for these seniors. What do you think is a good mindset for some of these younger guys going forward as they, come into the JV or, even the varsity game as they grow up to seniors?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is it's a great opportunity here. These, hopefully as we continue to play, we don't necessarily have spring football in Indiana. So I've always kind of viewed this, if you can go on a run in the postseason, you kind of get like a bonus spring ball for your young kids, where they get to play football for a few weeks where a lot of people aren't. If our older guys can extend the season for them, I think that's, big. And we do a thing where, we'll do a drive at the end of each practice of our young guys going against each other here. So they still kind of have they're not just on the scout team. They're getting some competition against each other and getting to have a little fun and get after it a little bit at the end of practice. No, and then, it becomes the weight room and trying to develop yourself into a JV and or, varsity football player and physically getting there. I think that's the biggest difference between, making that freshman jump and getting up to the varsity level is your body and your strength and your speed. And if you're going to be athletic enough, to compete at the varsity level.
Yeah, agree with you there. We did do weights in high school. I don't think it was, as important as, making sure we're eating our meals and staying conditioned through practice. But the weight room, you can completely change the outlook, going forward. You completely change your body in tremendous ways, drinking a bunch of water, staying hydrated. But no, the weight room comes to a huge part. I didn't really realize or understand just how important the weights were kind of until I got into college and got into that regiment program. But the earlier you can do that, especially if you're a player who's, loves the game of football, really wanting to pursue that in college along with school. That's one thing that scouts will always tell you is, hit the weights, need to stay in shape. This isn't just a seasonal thing. This is a year-round thing, something you need to stay on top of and keep doing. So, but you guys, obviously, I think when you started, they had just gotten the new weight room. So you guys, I know your weight room is phenomenal. So even a better excuse to get some of those guys in there. But after that, kind of talked about the Mount Vernon game last Friday. We will go ahead and take a short little break here. When we come back, we'll kind of talk about cross country and get into some other big games going on around the 3A, some of the top 10 teams, and a couple more games that caught my eye as I was looking through. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Nick Hart Show here on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA, First Advantage Realty, Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstock, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Country Barns, Noel Con Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Engermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete.
Hello and welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. Talked a little bit about Mount Vernon earlier, big 40-6 victory in the round one of sectionals. We'll talk about Washington still a little later, but kind of want to get into some other big 3A games. But first, let's go ahead and get into cross country. We had the boys team advance to the regionals. And then the girls had a few individuals who advanced as well. I do have the team results here. It looks like Gibson Southern placed 11th. And what's crazy, between first place and 11th place, there's less than a 7-second difference. But Coach Hart, didn't know, did you have some individual results here? I'm kind of going through them, but you might have some down already.
Yeah, Alex Spindler, with his time on Saturday, advanced to the state cross country meet, which is coming up this coming Saturday in Terre Haute. So congratulations to Alex, the second year in a row that he's advanced to the state final portion of the individual cross country meet.
Yeah, big congrats to him. That's an awesome feeling. I think I talked about it. I don't remember if it was through the broadcast or in one of the shows previously, but cross country, that's a whole nother beast. I don't know. I don't want to run for 5 miles. That's for sure. I don't think I've got a mile in me right now, but I'm trying to find some other players on here. Looks like Hayden Pennington placed 81st out of 245 overall. Let's see if I can find one more guy. Isaac Paul placed 149th with a time of 18:22. And again, I'm obviously the rest of the team's in here, but my eyes hurt and I can't see that well. So we'll kind of move on from that. I know we had some individuals for the girls as well. Let's see if we can find some results here. And Courtney Helt placed 57th overall with a time of 21:12. So congrats to Courtney. And that's all I can see right now, it looks like. I know there was just a couple girls that advanced. They didn't advance on a team. Yeah, congrats to her as well for her place in the regionals. And we'll go ahead and get into some interesting games I saw going on. Obviously we'll take on Washington Friday at Washington. But some other games I noticed in the 3A that are going to be going on. Number 9, Lawrenceburg taking on number 10, Batesville. Number 5, Heritage Hills taking on, kind of what I consider a rival for them, that Heritage Hills Southridge game. They're going to meet up again in the sectionals round 2. Excited to see, it's never easy to beat a game or beat a team twice. So see how that game's going to turn around. And then, kind of another huge one that's going to decide at least one half of the semi-state, possibly. Number 1, Chittard taking on number 2, Guerin Catholic. I know both of those teams took down some top 10 3A teams in the first round, but in the second round, they will meet up as well. And then another game I like to, it's a big rivalry. I've always considered North Posey kind of cursed by the Mater Dei team. Haven't got a win yet against them in 14 matchups, but in the 2A, my alma mater, got to give them a shout out. North Posey going to be taking on Mater Dei, number 9 ranked North Posey against number 12 ranked Mater Dei at the Wrights Bowl on Friday. So, best of luck to them. I'd say if they've got any opportunity with the momentum they've created this season to get a win, I feel like this is the year to do it. And then one more game that kind of hits home with your Coach Hart. We talked about it earlier. I want to make sure I had all the facts right, but your father out at Brownsburg, they are currently the number 66 team in the nation, in the country, number 2 in the state, taking on the number 64 team, Ben Davis, number 3 in the state. Going to be a huge matchup there as well. Curious to see how that one's going to turn out. What do you think the score of that game is going to be, Coach Hart?
I don't know. We're certainly, rooting for Brownsburg. It's kind of cool. 6A had a bye here last week. So my parents were able to come down, to the Mount Vernon game. So it's good to see them and have them down for a game. And, I know they've been, preparing really hard for Ben Davis, obviously. It's a big game to happen this early in the tournament. Have 2 teams ranked that high. Two of the 3 favorites probably to win 6A playing in round 1. So, a big game. They got to go on the road. But I think hopefully they find a way to get it done.
Yeah, a lot of great games around the area. It's fun. It's because just as the further, sorry, I'm mumbling, but the further you go in the season, obviously the games, come down a little more to the line, starting to play a lot better talent. I think competition's a great thing. Just don't want to go beating people 50-0 every game and then turn around and bring up a big goose egg in the postseason. But, got a lot of great games around the area, a lot of talent around the area as well. But let's go ahead and get into the most important one. We've got Washington coming up on Friday. Washington had a big victory over West Vigo this past week, had a 46-7 victory over them. They got to play I'm not sure if they played at Washington or West Vigo, but
it was at Washington.
It was at Washington. Okay, gotcha. So Washington going to have the back-to-back home games. Coach, don't know how much film you've watched so far on Washington, but what's some have you seen anything different that we've seen in the season so far?
Obviously we've watched quite a bit. We always do, but especially this time of year, you want to make sure you've got everything down. I thought they played really well last week. They're a spread team. And they do a lot of stacks and bunches and stuff out of their spread. Kind of try and create some leverage with what they're doing. I think the quarterback does a really good job of spitting the ball out to his guys, and they have some really good receivers. A few weeks ago when we played up there, we did a really good job against their running game, and did a good job of putting some pressure on the quarterback, to make the ball come out quick. So it's kind of the same thing as last week. I think if we just kind of show up this week and we expect the same result that happened about a month ago up there, it's a big mistake, and you're playing with fire doing that. So we got to come out and have a great week of practice and prepare and make sure we know everything that's going on, so we can come out on Friday and perform at a high level.
Yep, I agree with that. We'll go ahead and take a quick break, though. When we come back, we'll kind of get more into the Washington game coming up on Friday, break it down a little better. But don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly here on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by National Vet Help, MyTech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Solman Photography, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, and by the grandmothers of Jackson Adams.
Hello and welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. Talked a little bit about, what to expect from this Washington team. Got a quarterback who's doing a great job finding his targets through the air. Let's see. I've got the Westfigo game up here. But last Friday, Colton Stowers, junior quarterback, was 10 for 17. Looks like 188 yards, did have 3 touchdowns. And then through the ground for this Washington offense, able to get 3 touchdowns on the ground as well. Rushed in by Xavion Leisure, Parker Murphy, and Cameron Cook. So, this team's just got it's a young team with, a lot of guys who can play just about any position on the field. Offensively, they're a spread team, so they're going to spread it out, going to throw the ball well. What do you think your defense is going to try to do against this passing game?
Well, I think, one thing we did well against them when we went up there last time, I thought we did a really good job of mixing looks and mixing coverages. So, not only, play caller wise, they didn't know, were we man, are we quarters, are we two, creating some indecision out of the quarterback as well. I think it's important when a team throws it like them to mix looks and make sure you're not giving them what they think they're going to see. And then, I said last time, I thought our front four did a good job of creating some pressure and making the ball come out early. We got to try and, do that again this week. But, to me, that's it, is kind of mixing the looks, making sure we're playing some of their bunch looks and quads looks and stuff correctly. We're adjusting correctly. And then making the ball come out, early and not letting him sit back there. I think the one thing we did last time is we let the Stowers kid at quarterback, break the pocket a few times. We got to have better pass rush discipline, making sure that he doesn't have free access to get out of the pocket and extend plays or go pick up some yards with his legs. We got to do a little bit better job with our pass rush discipline this time around.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, Timbarge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, TYFL, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body.
And then offensively for the Titans, let's see, it looked like we had, let me do my math real quick, about 438 total yards of offense. The offensive line, I think, stepped up, played a fantastic game against these Hatchets in their last matchup, opening up the run game. And then with protection, Kenner Boyd throwing for 278 yards and 3 touchdowns that evening as well. We've talked about, the good and the bad from this offensive line, but I think, they've kind of turned it on at about the best time of the year. Starting to play, I feel, almost perfect. This is the best they've played of the whole season. How do you think, what's the plan going forward with that team or with that offensive line to kind of keep them at that level?
Yeah, just keeping them, where they're at, through practice and stuff. And when we went to Washington last time, you mentioned Tanner threw for 278. That was in the first half. I thought the way they played us the first time, they did a decent job of taking away the run against us. It wasn't taken away, but there was some tough sledding in the run game, but that opened up the passing game. They played a lot of single high or no high safety against us the first time, and that's why Tanner was able to throw for that many yards in the first half. It's I think the nice thing about our offense right now is a little bit pick your poison. If they come out and try and play split safeties, because we threw the ball well against them last time, that's going to lighten the box and make it easier to run the football. But we got to execute at a high level. Last time it was throwing the ball, and we think we can go in and have some success in the air unless they change up their look. And then if they change their look, we can easily adjust on the fly and, go a little bit more on the ground. But I think when we're our best, we're mixing both in and finding a way to run the ball and throw the ball.
That's the blessing of having, I did a seasonal stats before that Mount Vernon game, and through the passing to rushing, it was rushing the ball 52% of the time and passing the ball 48% of the time. So, we've been able to see it all season, how successful we've been through the air and on the ground. I think that just makes it even more difficult for a defense to contain an offense as explosive like this. Just one take one away, we've been able to do both of them just as successful as one another. So just finding the openings, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think Gibson Southern, we're going to come in prepared, ready to go, and expect, and I hate looking forward. I don't want to do it. I am going to bring it up, the expectation is taking on Vincennes Lincoln in that sectional championship. Big congratulations to Pike Central as well, getting their first sectional victory, I believe, in school history. I feel like that might be wrong. This might be their second. I feel like they might have gotten one 5 or 6 years ago. But, Pike Central pulling off, a big sectional win. That doesn't happen often. Who knows what could happen in that top half of the bracket. Excuse me. But, I think that's about all we've got for the Nick Hart Show this week. Sorry, it's a little short, a little sweet. A lot less games going on. More important ones with, just this sectional round 2. But on Friday, October 27th, getting close to that Halloween time, expect some costumes from both student sections. But Friday, October 27th, is that going to be a 6:30 start time, Coach Hart?
Yes, 6:30 at Washington.
Okay, 6:30 start time at Washington. Sectional 3A sectional round 2. 6:30 p.m. Gibson Southern Titans going to be taking on the Washington Hatchets. Going to be an exciting game. Everyone, get as many people as we can. I know it's a trip, but it's one thing I've always noticed is this Gibson Southern fan base. They travel deep in these away games. So excited for this game coming up. But one more time, Friday, October 27th, 6:30 p.m. start time. Your Gibson Southern Titans, the number 4 team in 3A, taking on Washington in a sectional round 2 game. Looking forward to see everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening this evening or today. It's not an evening yet. Still got a whole day ahead of us. But thank you, everyone, for listening. Looking forward to the game on Friday. Thank you for listening to the Nick Hart Show here on 89.1 The Bash.
Thanks for listening to the Nick Hart Show. It's a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including Young's Auto Body, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, We Simply Clean LLC, Wash Boss, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Vertical Tile Incorporated, United Fidelity Bank, TYFL, Triad Fabricators, Titan Construction Partners, Tai Chow, Tin Barge Seed, Stodgel Monuments, Stodgel Funeral Home, by Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Shearer Monuments, Scherer's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, Ripco Systems, by Remax Revolution, Rawhide Golf, Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, National Vet Help, MyTech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, and by Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Salmon Photography, Casey Gray Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, by Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, by Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, by Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family Friends of Mason Scheller, by Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Courtney Barnes, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Angermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete. The Nick Hart Show, a special sports production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department, and your home for the Titans, 89.1 The Bash.